what is the Research Fellowship Program and how it works. So practically speaking, how it works. So the Research Fellowship Program is unique because it's really designed to offer you a supportive community with very practical outcomes. And so you can see here some examples of poster presentations about the different types of programs, as well as some of the projects that have been submitted individually or as group projects. And so to help facilitate the process of going from learning bioinformatics to actually applying bioinformatics to big data and getting results, we designed this kind of a process that helps anyone without previous practical knowledge of bioinformatics. If you've known about bioinformatics, you understand what it is, you can get started and then get all the way to this outcome, right? So the question is how? And the way we did it is we started developing exemplar projects from peer-reviewed papers that cover a variety of topics, including epigenetic regulation of asthma or precision medicine using cell line models and artificial intelligence, how to apply deep sequencing technologies to understand viral replication, how to study the changing landscape of our of the ecology and understand how we can intervene, how to understand the immune responses in cancer, how to study the microbiome of individuals that are scattered around the world and understand what factors are affecting the microbiome, how to study these animal patient-derived xenograft models or PDX models where you can study cancer coming from a human in an animal model, how to apply the understanding of big data to TCGA, the Cancer Genome Atlas that represents thousands of patients from different types of cancers, how to apply bioinformatics and biotechnology and understand the production of biologics, including vaccines and different kinds of large proteins that are used for treatment of specific diseases, or even how to apply analysis of transcriptomic data to understand the crop drought stress and resistance in different cultivars of potato, how to understand the complex gene regulation in neurodegenerative diseases, or understand outbreaks of infectious pandemics like the Ebola outbreak of 2014-2016. But the range of topics doesn't end there. And so that's why we also provide you with an opportunity to start from scratch and design a project that is completely individually picked by you. So we have a system that can help you find a topic, understand what type of data could be used to study that topic and how to ask a specific technical question that could be answered with data analysis, and then how to go through the process of designing a research project on your own in groups and with the help of a mentor. So the way this works is that we have a program that is designed to help you understand through the introduction, evaluate your progress through practice, and then start applying these different analysis skills to a data set of your own. And along the way, interact with our community through weekly progress reports on Slack as we interact with each other and have a whole community that can discuss a variety of topics, but also through access to mentorship. And I will talk about that in just a few moments. But first, let's talk about the introduction. So as a part of getting you started, it's important to get a broad perspective, widen your horizon, and understand the application of bioinformatics to big data that is widely available. And that includes coursework that you can complete asynchronously on the introduction and on different types of omics technologies, genomics, transcriptomics, metagenomics, epigenomics, and gain practical skills in data science, including machine learning, statistical analysis, coding in R and Python, as well as fair practices to make your analysis reproducible, which is a critical, important skill to have if you are going into research or even if you're going into industry. Ultimately, after that, you get an opportunity to use our OmicsLogic portal to develop and submit your project and get feedback along the way. And so the process that we have is that, first of all, you have to earn a certain number of points. You have to update your profile and really create a profile that you can share, and then go through these steps to start submitting a project. And so when you submit that project, you can actually upload all of the information that is needed and then complete your profile, adding some information about your background, adding social media links to your LinkedIn or potentially to OrgID, and really being ready for submitting a project and sharing it with the world. And so after you go through that, you will also get access to a whole course on how to submit a project that is impactful, and that will be evaluated by our experts from the bioinformatics community. What you gain out of this process is ability to understand how others have applied bioinformatics to different types of studies through literature review. You get to become an investigator, which is what people do in research, but also in industry. They know how to ask questions and answer those questions with data. And also you get the ability to write and prepare the project for the presentation so that you get a good result. You get an impactful presentation that you can share with experts in the field. The way that this happens is through a defined series of steps. First, by identifying a competitive topic in an area of research that others are interested in. Number two, by finding data sets, which you will get guidance on. Number three, to summarize your data and prepare a summary of what does the metadata describe about the data that you found, conducting exploratory analysis, then doing in-depth analysis, biological interpretation, and then you start interaction with your mentor, the peers, and experts. And so that's where the community comes in. So all throughout this process, we have weekly sessions, and at the end, once you've gotten the feedback from the mentor, the experts, and the community, you actually start working on your project presentation. So that project presentation also follows a number of defined steps that everybody follows, both in research and in your university studies, right? You have to essentially build a project that will describe what have you done, what are the findings, and what is the significance of those findings for the field that you are in, whether it's data science, whether it is neuroscience, precision medicine, agriculture, biotechnology, etc. The field needs to know why they should be paying attention to your project and how does your analysis contribute to answering some of the gaps in current research or answering questions about how to utilize methods to address gaps that will come in the future. And so I think that this program is unique because it really provides us with unique outcomes that are guaranteed. So what are some of the guaranteed outcomes? Number one, you will definitely learn about the challenges and the opportunities in bioinformatics as a whole. So in many cases, when we talk to students that are either undergraduate or in graduate master's degree programs, they have a theoretical understanding of bioinformatics, but they don't understand how they can apply bioinformatics to address a specific challenge, or whether what they are doing is going to be meaningful and needed in a particular field. Number two, many don't have the practical training to be able to independently work with data sets. And so that's where training and skill development comes in, but it's only one part of the program, not the full program. Number three, you can work on independent or group research projects. So you can really work on a project that you found, a data set that you're interested in, or even join the program before you identify a data set and a question and learn how to develop a question and start finding that data set. But you can also work in groups. So as we mentioned, we have about 50 people in the different batches. We have 3 different batches and also some other batches for high school students that are later in the day in the US. And so that's when you can collaborate with others and learn how to work together as a team, solving these interdisciplinary problems. Then finally, some most ambitious people will go for a poster presentation or even a research publication. And so in a few minutes, I will introduce you to some of these outcomes with practical examples. Who has done this? So let's talk briefly about the specific questions that we've had. So number one, can this program be used for the requirement of a university internship? The answer is yes. And by the way, right now, you're welcome to write any other questions that you have And I see that some of you are doing it, but I will address all of these questions that you're asking in the next few slides. So again, number one, can this program be used for a requirement for university internship? Yes, we have a number of university participants and participants from other universities that are doing exactly that. Number two, what is the difference between 3 and 6 months program? The difference is that if you are wanting to actually publish, it takes a long time. And so even though we know you can do a lot in 3 months, we would like you to understand that it is a time-consuming process. And I will talk a little bit about the process so that you really understand what is the time commitment that is needed. So how many hours commitment does the research fellowship require? So the research fellowship is flexible and is highly dependent on your commitment personally. If you want to get the most out of this, we recommend spending at least 10 to 15 hours per week on your research project, which includes just 1 to 2 hours for a weekly meeting. It also includes about an hour a day to go through the different learning materials that are needed. So remember, I said in total 10 to 15 hours. So if you just spend 1 hour a day, that's 7 hours, plus about 2 to 3 hours per week for interaction with your mentor and with the whole group. So that's about 10 hours. Some people need more than an hour. They also need additional time to do literature review and perform their own analysis. So that's why we estimate it to be between 10 and 15 hours per week. What are the mentorship options? So I will go through some of the mentorship options. You can use our team as your mentors, but I also will introduce you to some of the advanced mentorship options that you can choose from. Can we choose any topic? Yes, you can find a topic that we will help you identify. You can refine that topic during your interaction with the mentor, and then you can develop a full research proposal around that topic. Can you work in group projects? Yes, you can. The way to work in group projects is to communicate with your mentor and bring together that team or ask for an introduction. So we can definitely help you with that. Can you publish? Yes, and we have some examples that I will show you in a few minutes. And then finally, pricing, payment options, and scholarships. And so I will get to that. Just let me give a little bit more detail about some of these first questions. So first of all, here's an example. Of a research project, and I want to briefly talk about how do you get from a topic that seems interesting to actually finishing that project and submitting it as a publication. This is an example from one of our programs with University of Ghana, where we had a whole lab join this project and bring their own data to complete some number of publications in 6 months. So during the 6 months, we first of all help design different project ideas and turn them into bioinformatics research that has some additional competitiveness to it by including methods of analysis that previously the lab was not exposed to. So then we refine those proposals, and going through several internal presentations, created posters. And this is an example of a poster that we presented together with the team at one of the research conferences. During that time, we got some feedback, and now we are working on turning that feedback into a full journal publication for peer review. So that whole process takes at least 6 months, right? But in the process, a lot has been achieved in 3 months. And so here are some examples of people that just did 3 months and what are the outcomes for them. So one of our graduates is Urja Parekh, who in the course of 3 months submitted a project, did her presentation at different conferences, but also developed a full publication that later on was submitted to bioRxiv. Andres is a high school student that completed his training, developed a research proposal, and now is going for a competition that he is going to participate in. Here's another participant that actually used his experience to participate in a hackathon and then went on to receive prizes during a hackathon. And also we have others that have participated in these and actually got into other types of programs as a result of their experience. So really, those are the different outcomes. You can do a poster presentation, you can join a competition, you can also get prizes from different competitions because of the training, or you might be going for a PhD or a master's program. So it's going to be easier for you to get accepted if you show that you have the necessary background. Okay, so as I mentioned, some of the outcomes could be certificates in different presentations that you do, or even submission of a preprint like you see right here. Others have also went on to publish. For example, Simai Dolaner here actually submitted her to a publication in the Columbia Undergraduate Science Journal. And so there's a publication option, but of course we cannot guarantee that. We can only guarantee that we will help you, but you will have to go for an actual publication. So this is the publication that she got. Others actually use this in their PhD programs. So for example, Olga Udartseva, she's a research affiliate postdoc at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. And as a result of her training, she was able to apply the same methods to her research, both preclinical and ideas about clinical research. Another student, a PhD student at Louisiana State University, went through the coursework as a part of her university requirement. If you're a high school student, we also have a number of high school students that have participated in the different programs that we have and actually designed a project, as you can see right here, to get some awards at a science fair. Here's an example of a student from Georgetown University Systems Medicine Master Degree Program. So especially if you are interested in applying to different programs at universities, this is relevant as well. You can get a lot of benefit by learning additional information about the new topics like machine learning. Here's another PhD student that we have had previously in a program. So actually, as a part of his thesis, he used the program to work on his thesis and interact with the mentors. Okay. Number two, I see a lot of questions that come up about mentorship. So for the summer, we have a great panel of expert mentors that have PhDs in relevant fields, that have master degrees in relevant fields, and that are very interested to work with students. Not only can you work on an independent project, you can also get their guidance on projects that are impactful from their perspective, right? And this is critical because they are already working on important research topics and they can get you involved in those projects. So beyond just working independently, you can actually know what it's like to work in a high-level expert lab guided by a mentor that is already accomplished, that has the publications, that can actually guide you through the steps that they have been through. And so Dr. Harpreet Kaur has numerous publications in bioinformatics and cancer. Dr. Sona Vasudevan is a professor and program director and expert in systems medicine. Clinton Kunha has a master's degree in molecular medicine and a master's degree in bioinformatics. Dr. Gio Chavez has a PhD in bioinformatics and an expert in neurodegenerative diseases and glioblastoma. Sahil Sethi is a PhD student in bioinformatics, big data, and is working on COVID and health disparities. And Dr. Laura Harris is a program director and has a PhD in bioinformatics and is an expert in microbiology. And we have others in our network as well. So to gain that high-level expertise, you can also design a proposal, get feedback from them, but also then have their guidance on how to make the most out of your proposal. And when I say we have a broader network, we have been working with a number of very experienced high-level experts in different domains that have evaluated our approach in our system, and they could also be an example and potentially guide you if we find the appropriate fit. So what are these resources that can help you get into the program and understand how it works before you commit? Let me ask you at this time to go to our portal and I want to kind of show you around on how you can get started with this process, okay? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go to learn.omicslogic.com, and I will briefly introduce you to some of the topics that are covered and where you can